Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today for our Benchmark Your Inbox in 2024 webinar. We're happy to share with you some super interesting insights that we are positive will help you boost your email marketing game. Nice. We hear from Rhonda. Nice. This is good that we hear each other. So let's continue. Before we dive further, just a quick note on some housekeeping. Let me get to it. So for anything that you want to ask or to complain, or if you have any technical issues, please type in the chat. It's been enabled. This webinar will last approximately 1 hour, and we will have a Q&A session in the end, so don't worry, all your questions will be answered. And also, this webinar is going to be recorded, so please expect this recording to be delivered in your inboxes at the early beginning of the next week, along with a little freebie from us, link to this super nice report that we are covering today, made by our own brand evangelist for GetResponse, 𝘕𝗪. And before we take it to the next level, guys, we would like to ask you if you can spare just a few minutes, because we would love to run a little poll, only a few questions. So let's give it a minute or two, and then we can continue. Thank you.
Yeah, folks, we would like to really get to know you better and see whom we've managed to reach with today's webinar. So we've got just a few questions for you.
Nice. Thank you.
And by the way, when you're done, feel free to let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. And hopefully the weather is much nicer than it is here in Poland.
Yeah. Michał is in Poland, I'm in Montenegro, and it's been raining the entire week. So we're feeling just a little bit sleepy, just a little bit. So don't worry. And also, while you're on your poll, we forgot, Michał, the most important thing, to introduce ourselves. I mean, come on, this is not our first webinar, but you know, it happens. So I'm Mariana, a product marketing manager here at GetResponse, and I'm with Michał, my co-host, who is our superstar head of content marketing and partnerships. And we will hold our hands together remotely while discussing some super interesting things with you. So yeah.
That's exactly right. We've got folks from Missouri, Chuck and Sue. Hey, folks
Nice.
from Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Ohio. Only an ocean between us. Only, right?
True. Nice, folks. We've got roughly 50% of the votes, so feel free to provide your answers. We're going to collect just a few more, and then we can continue. Texas, San Francisco. Nice, folks.
Nice. Cool. This is nice. Like Michał and me, we were just discussing how, you know, remote work really changed everything. Like, come on, we are in different countries. You guys are totally way across the sea. So, but we are here together in a blink of an eye. And Michał, there is no kids screaming in the background. So this is good. There is no drilling from the neighbors. I think we will be covered.
Perfect. We got lucky.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we?
I think we
voting.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, guys. You've been lovely.
I appreciate this. So let's go back to the presentation.
Yeah. Thank you, Michał. Okay, super nice. So guys, thank you again for joining us for our webinar today. And let's explore, you know, why is it the fact that email marketing still dominates and why you can't afford to ignore it. And as you all know, with all the noise surrounding new platforms, emails still remain a powerful tool for driving engagement and conversions if done right. So today we're diving deep into the insights we uncovered from analyzing over 1 billion emails across the US market. And we'll reveal some things like what are the best time to send your emails, how AI feature adoption affects the most important email metrics, and share real benchmark data that will help you totally fine-tune your approach for the highest return on investment. And whether you guys looking to improve open rates, click-through rates, or overall engagement, today we're going to equip you with some actionable tactics backed by hard data. And now, without further ado, I'll hand it over to my co-host Michał, and he will walk you through our next key insights. Michał, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So folks, before we get there, I've got a quick question for you as well. Like, we've been doing the analysis of email marketing benchmarks for several years now, about 6 or 7 years. And we've been publishing the global email marketing benchmarks on the website. So I'm curious if any of you have seen that report before, if you used it. So let me know if you have. If not, I'm just dropping the link to this on the chat, just in case for future reference.
Nice.
Okay, we've got Jenny who says yes. Awesome, thank you. Okay, Chuck, no. Okay, let's see who else we've got that. Nope. Okay, folks, so let me tell you how this is a bit different. So in the Global Email Marketing Benchmarks report that we've been doing for several years, we've been looking at the global results. And for the last few years, we've been using total numbers. So total number of opens, total number of clicks, etc. Now, in this report that we're talking to you about today, that focuses on US, we're only using unique data. Unique means if someone opened your email once or twice or 3 times, we only count it once. The same goes for clicking. If you have 10 links that they could click on and they click 20 times in your email, we're only counting that once. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because we want to find out what the actual results are in terms of people rather than anything artificial that could be there in the background. So let me get back to that in a second. So what you're seeing here right now are the average results for the US from the first half of this year. So over 1 billion emails analyzed from folks in the US. So you can see we've got the open rate, which is just above 32%. And honestly, I've been analyzing this data for several years now. So I've seen the trends, and we've been at the beginning about 19, 20% open rate when we first started. We're now above 30%. Now that sounds good. That sounds awesome. But at the same time, there's a bit of a caveat because unfortunately, the analysis, the ability to measure opens has been somewhat limited because of Apple MPP. So mobile privacy policy, basically what it means is that when you're sending out emails to users that use Apple products, Apple first opens that message automatically to check if there's no phishing, no spam, whatever. And that counts already as an open. So unfortunately, the opens aren't as accurate these days. And depending on the audience that you have, that could be a big chunk of your audience because Apple products are quite prevalent, especially in the US. So that's an important thing. So while we see that the open rates have increased across the years, the truth is that we're somewhat limited nowadays in terms of measuring opens. Now, when it comes to clicks, the click-through rates have roughly been the same over the last several years. They're around 2%, and depending on the type of campaign that you're running, if it's transactional emails, if it's automated emails, autoresponders, etc., these emails get higher click-throughs. The normal newsletters, they get lower click-throughs, so that's the average, about 2%. Now, the tricky part is, unfortunately, what I alluded to before, is that recently, in the last year or so, we've noticed that there was a big spike in bot activity just throughout the web. And this is what we're reading as well in other reports, is that there's plenty of bots. So they're signing up as email addresses to your lists, and they're automatically opening and clicking your emails, which is a problem of its own because it makes this most important metric, the click-through rate, somewhat less effective. So when you're going to be measuring your results, you have to also keep in mind that some of that activity could be inflated, but still 2% is much, much higher that you can compare to any other marketing channel that you can utilize. If you're using Facebook ads, Meta ads, TikTok ads, whatever, Google search ads, you can see that none other channel can get even similar click-throughs. And it's much, much cheaper. That's why the last few years, the reports from the DMA, which report on the email marketing ROI, they have been consistent to show that the email has an ROI of 38 to 1 or 36 to 1, which means for every single dollar that you invest, it gives you $38 in return. And why this is happening still is because email is relatively cheap. You only acquire the consent once, you capture someone's details once, and until they unsubscribe, you have the full right to contact them with your materials. And with ads, with blog content, so in the search engines, on social media, you have to keep spending money to be able to present your message to your audience. When it comes to unsubscribe rates, spam rate, and bounce rate, this has been quite stable over the last several years, so nothing really has changed there. Again, this is part of our job to actually work with clients that don't have too high bounce rates, too high unsubscribe rates, etc. So we're educating folks how to improve their metrics. Now, I mentioned about these bot attacks. So that's something that's quite annoying, I have to admit, and myself, like when I'm looking at our email campaigns, this is somehow discouraging when you're looking at your data. So a neat trick that we found ourselves is when you're using tools like GetResponse, we have these email click maps inside the report tab inside your GetResponse account. So when you go to your reports, you can check exactly which links have been clicked inside your email. You can check the click map of each link. And we found, which wasn't like, rocket surgery, we found that, the unusual behavior that's happening is usually connected with the number of links that you see, or number of clicks that you see in the social sharing links at the bottom of your email. So for example, in our emails, we usually have social sharing links, we have some footer links, etc. If we're seeing that these links are roughly clicked about 400 times for a bigger send-out that we're doing, we can also assume that about the same number of times other links have been clicked by bots. So this can tell you what percentage of your emails, email clicks or email opens were affected by bots. Now, this is not ideal, and we're working on giving you a tool to make this actually much easier, much more possible to distinguish between the bots and non-bots, because this is like the reality that we're living in these days. There's even this theory that 80% of traffic in the internet is actually just bot traffic, so bots creating content for bots. I don't know if this is true or not, but we have to be ready for this. So when we're analyzing the data, we have to be aware of this, and we need to be able to tackle this, right?
Yeah.
So these are the average results that we've seen so far. But when we're looking at the US, you folks know it best. Like, US is a massive place. It's not, compared to Europe, we're talking about one country, but multiple states, multiple audiences. So what really we recommend is always to look at the industry that you're in. So, the average results for the whole country could be different than for your industry. So again, in this report, what we did was to analyze the best industries provided with the information that customers give us. So when they sign up, they provide the industry data. So here, what you can see is the top 3 and the bottom 3 industries in terms of open rates. Just to give you a glimpse into how this was stacked. So what you can see here already is that you have industries that get about 44% open rates, and you have industries that get about 23%. Open rates, so a huge difference. So when you're trying to compare yourself to others, you need to know that maybe in your industry the results aren't as high, or maybe in your industry actually the results are higher, and you have some more way, some, let's say, more mileage to go to achieve the best results. What's interesting here also is that, for example, automotive has 29% open rate, but it has 9% click-through rate. Now, the two things that come to my mind here is, one, the audience may be not opening as often, but when they are opening, they are definitely clicking through because they're interested in cars, and they wanna consume the content, they want to engage with the content. The other thing to keep in mind is also potentially that the sample of businesses that use email in the automotive industry isn't as big. So you also have to keep that in mind, that maybe there aren't that many car dealerships around doing email marketing. So maybe you don't have to worry as much. But keep in mind that when you're always analyzing your data, you want to analyze it within your industry. You don't want to compare yourself to the whole global results. Industry results are best, country results are better, are like next best, and then global results in that order. So here as well, as you see, like the unsubscribe rates, complaint rates, bounce rates are relatively similar. The only thing that's interesting, in my opinion, here is that the difference in the engagement rates in the automotive industry are somewhat interesting because they have high click-throughs, high bounces at the same time, but low open rates. So again, when you're looking at this data, think about your industry and see if your numbers are relatively similar to this. So one more thing about industries is that when we're publishing best practices when it comes to email design, when it comes to email marketing tactics, always think about the audience that you're serving. So we can be producing the best practices articles for everyone, but at the same time, your audience best. So you will know best what kind of tactics will work with them, whether personalization or timing or whatever else you're going to try. That's going to be more relevant. It's going to be more relevant to target it to your audience specifically than to just apply everything that you read. So that's my bit. But I know we've got another insight, Mariana, when it comes to AI.
Super nice. Yeah, thank you, Michał. Like, these are really valuable insights, and I hope you guys are enjoying so far and learning. So awesome. So we're discussing data, right? So there is an inevitable topic, AI and data, and how it all connects together with respect to email marketing. And we are all aware that a lot of people are worried about what role AI will play in the future. So is it going to limit our creativity? What is going to happen? Is it going to make our jobs obsolete? So while we are still kind of early in using AI, we wanted to see how it's impacting email marketing for our customers. So what we did is, hold on, let me move to the next slide. I keep forgetting that, sorry guys. So what we did here is an analysis of our AI features in GetResponse, and the results kind of shows that AI-assisted emails are holding on their own. You can see with an average open rate of 32.71%, and with the click-through rate, it's slightly lower than the national. It's 1.86. So on top of that, you have this higher bounce rates and unsubscribe rates, and it all suggests us that human-created content still kind of works better with both people and emails. And what does this mean for you? You should use AI to definitely boost your strategy, but keep the human touch by creating personalized content and that really resonates with your audience. And you should think kind of more beyond just simple copywriting, right? Because there are also other ways that AI can help you. Like, real power of AI lies in analyzing data, right? Providing you recommendations, like suggesting what you can do with all this data. What are the next steps? And as an example of this, we'd highlight the feature we have within our GetResponse Max plan called AI product recommendation. And especially if you're in e-commerce, it's all about personalizing your website's shopping experience and email campaigns with automated AI-driven product recommendations. And our customers have actually seen like up to 30% of their sales being attributed to AI product recommendations. So there is something to think, about AI from all different angles and how you can put it to their best use to help you with email marketing, but with your marketing strategy in general. And now on some, maybe this is kind of maybe futuristic topic, but onto more casual topics, and for you to learn what does morning coffee has with your email marketing, Michał will also share some very interesting insights about timings. Michał, please.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mariana. So one of the key things that marketers ask, especially email marketers ask, is when is the best time to send an email? And when you whatever medium you're going to use is going to be the same question. When is the best time to send on post on Instagram? When is the best time to post on TikTok, etc.? The same goes with email. So the thing is, we analyzed, as always, the best times for marketers to send emails, and we looked at the open rates and we looked at the click-through rates. And what you can see here on the chart, the blue line at the top, is how the opens change based on the time of the email being sent. And the orange line is the click-throughs, and the dark navy in the background, that's the percentage of emails that are being sent. So you can see that the majority of folks are sending emails roughly around between 7 and 10 a.m. But what's really happening is that what's really interesting is that the emails that are sent ahead of that time, even at around 4 or 5 a.m., these are the ones that are getting the highest number of opens. So why is it happening? It's just because when you're opening up your emails in the morning, the first thing that you're looking at is the emails that are at the top of your inbox, not the emails that were sent to you the day before, and not the emails that they will be reaching you in an hour or so. So people are waking up early and they're checking emails. What's also interesting, as a separate study, we analyzed if there's a difference when it comes to opening and clicking times. So what we found is that when people open them in the morning, they also click through the emails in the morning. When you send emails in the afternoon, they will be opening them. But it sounds like they're only just trying to catch up with work before leaving, and they're actually not clicking through as likely as they are in the morning. And we looked at this data, in the US. We looked at this globally. What's interesting is that, depending on the working hours, this changes a bit. So, for example, in Italy, the morning is slightly delayed, and people wake up a bit later, or they arrive at work a bit later, and the opens are moving that way. So, in the US, you have also multiple time zones. So, what you're going to be interested in is, if you're catering to an audience that's across multiple time zones, is to use either a time that that folks are going to be opening it. So, for example, 8 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning, or use a feature called perfect timing. Perfect timing is our AI that is analyzing the best engagement times based on past behavior of your subscribers, and then delivering that email to them based on that time. My recommendation, and based on the numbers, the best thing to do is to pick an hour. So, for example, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And if you have an audience spread across multiple time zones, use time travel feature. That's a separate feature, which automatically adjusts the send time of your email to the time zone of that audience. So, for example, if you have people across 3 or 4 time zones, that's going to send it at 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. their time, respectively, depending on the time zone. So, as they say, the early bird gets the worm. So if you want to have an impact with your email campaigns, and it makes sense for your emails to be opened in the morning, then send them in the morning. If people cannot click through your emails and convert through your emails in the morning, then try a different time. You know your audience best. But looking at the previous results, we saw always that, the late afternoon, it could be someone's checking emails while leaving the work, while commuting from work, or, trying to prepare dinner for their family and that kind of stuff. And they're not as engaged unless you know that your audience is buying in the afternoon or in the evening. That's something you can see in Google Analytics. So you have to check what works best for you, do an A/B test. Maybe it's better actually to send an email later in the evening where there's less competition, and you know that your audience will be clicking and buying from you. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, again, when it comes to timing, another thing to keep in mind is the day of the send out. So we were checking when it's the best time to send an email. Is it Tuesday? Is it Monday, etc.? And typically we see that there's little difference between the days. As long as it's not a weekend, you should be fine. Although here, as you can see, Sundays aren't actually that bad when it comes to opens and clicks. So who knows? Maybe it's better to send an email on a Sunday. That's actually very interesting to me, that almost 20% of all emails are sent out on weekends. Typically, when we're looking at the global results, we see much fewer emails being sent on weekends. Most of the communication is happening during the work week. So the best days in terms of opens, you've got Tuesday and Thursday here, Tuesday and Wednesday here. But again, we did say that the open rate is somewhat deceptive. So I would be more interested in actually click-throughs. So we have Tuesday and Thursday here that have the highest click-through rate. And when it comes to other engagement metrics, it's roughly the same. So, well, it doesn't really matter as much because the difference isn't as big. But if you're optimizing for conversions, you want to somewhat try to increase your click-through rate. Why not give it a shot and send it on Tuesday and Thursday? Because on Monday people are just returning from the weekend, trying to catch up with work. They have plenty of things going on. They have high hopes they will achieve all their goals throughout the week. They might be opening the email, but probably they will not be able to click through it as likely. And on Tuesday, they have more time to do that. So if you're going to be choosing different days, do this. Or alternatively, what you can do is just prepare your audience for the days that you're going to be sending out your emails. This is a common tactic as well. So if you're a publisher, a creator, and you want to teach your audience when is the best time to reach them, just tell them, hey, every Tuesday, every Thursday, I'm going to be sending you an email at 8 a.m. with the best deals, best information, best content, etc. Just so there are two approaches, right? Either you guess when is the best time, or you teach them when you're going to be sending them emails.
Yeah.
So that's that when it comes to timing your campaigns.
Totally. I was also surprised to learn that in the morning you have highest opens and highest clicks. So it's sort of like we have our own 5 a.m. club, right? But it's only in email marketing. It's not about fitness and taking kids to school and everything. And now we also know time travel is possible. So I think it all comes down to literally get to know your audience, your customers, right? You should look at the data. What does it tell you? And just apply all those recommendations, even using AI. And now on to some interesting insights that we are calling actually hidden gems, that we prepared them just for you. They're a bit outside of this report, but we are curious. And I would love to read actually your answer in the chat. What do you think? How many newsletters you should send weekly? Is it 2 or 5, or just shoot them out and see what happens? Let me know. But based on our data, the optimal range for email newsletters in the US is from 1 to 3 per week, striking the best balance, with strong open rates, good click-through rates, and interestingly, for our data, sending 8 emails per week. Come on, guys, 8 means. It means that the performance peaked, right? Which is totally curious, with the highest open rates and engagement. But one thing to notice, this is probably niche audience, right? Highly engaged audience. So when you think about your own strategy, optimize it, target for 1 to 3 newsletters for the general audience, and reserve higher frequencies for your most active subscribers.
Let me add on to this, because I was looking at similar reports in the past, and I was surprised by how top e-commerce brands, top retailers, how often they send emails, especially around the holiday season. Yeah, the top brands, they send even as many as 90 emails per month, which is a lot. But remember that you don't always have to send the same email to everyone. The trick is that you can actually find segments within your audience. So you could distinguish your different segments, and we will say that you're going to send out 10 newsletters, but it's actually for 10 different people. So don't worry, you don't always have to blast all the emails to other people.
Totally. Segmentation is number 1. Come on. And on to next interesting question. What do you think? What type of email message performs best? And you would be surprised here as well as we were a bit. For maximum engagement, drama pause, split test emails, top performers for open rates, almost 44%, and RSS emails excelling click-through rates and retention. So why don't you think of using split test, for experimentation and optimizing content, just, to engage your audience? And also one interesting thing, based on our data, broadcast emails also offer a solid, reliable option for low unsubscribes and complaint rates. But who would have think split, right? I mean, this just suggests you to constantly look for ways to optimize your content, to test, to see what works, what doesn't work. There are so many options, and I love email marketing just because of that. You don't have to guess. Just try and see what happens. And when we speak now on content and personalization, I'll let you, Michal, share a few interesting insights that I bet you are curious to know, because personalization is something that we all speak all the time. So, Michal.
So let's not go to the next slide. I've got a question for you folks. So what do you do to improve your engagement rates? How do you make sure that people are more likely to click through your emails? Because I'm really curious, what do you do? What is working for you? and what isn't. Because one thing is to actually to have the data, but then the better thing is to actually get information right from the horse's mouth and see what marketers are actually doing. So I'm seeing someone is typing, so I'm gonna wait a few moments. We've got free offer, polls, definitely surveys. That's a great way to engage your audience.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Chuck. So let's wait a couple of more seconds.
I'm thinking, like, I'm remembering, like, from the last webinar when I showed that example, when you have a survey and based what they type in the survey, they will trigger, an email automation with specific emails tailored for each answer. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, surveys definitely work.
I really like surveys, especially when someone's running a newsletter where they survey the audience and then the next edition they share the results of the survey. So like they're building a community within that email newsletter, or share some interesting findings, especially when you're part of like the group and you want to learn what others are doing, what kind of techniques they're doing. Things though, we see snappy subject lines. Okay, that's definitely going to help you increase your open rates. So we try to analyze what's going to increase click-through rates, especially, and we found that adding videos, graphics, and personalized content to the emails actually increases open rates, and that goes across all email campaigns. So before we were looking if just linking to social media sites or YouTube is going to increase the open rate and click rates. Unfortunately, that no longer is working. But then again, everyone is linking to their social media channels, so it doesn't really matter. So we looked specifically whether people added the block element inside the GetResponse email builder, the video element or the graphic or personalized content had the dynamic tags inside the content, and we see that all of those things correlate with higher click-through rates. So what you should be doing is to try to engage with your audience using these elements. So I know like quite a few people, especially in the affiliate space, they try to make their emails just written text and just have text links in them. And sure, if you know your audience well and this works for you, that's fine. But for everyone else, most of the folks that are engaging with emails, they engage better with visual buttons that they are bigger, that you can click with your thumb if you're using on a mobile phone. And more than half of people are using mobile phones to check their emails. Videos, especially with younger folks, they are checking information on Instagram, on TikTok. They're trying to find information as fast as possible. They're not here to read stuff, especially for longer articles or longer emails. So you want to make sure that your content is quick, snappy, and fun to engage with. And personalization, let's go beyond the simple "Hey Michał," hey first name thing. Try to make the personalization more meaningful to the people, whether it's product recommendations, whether it's just blocks of text of information or images based on that people's information that you have, or based on the things that they clicked on, based on what report they downloaded, that kind of stuff. You want to make sure that your content is engaging to them, and that's going to help you win with email marketing long term. When it comes to content and making stuff visual, making it consumable, we want to announce two things. So one thing is, I don't know if you've heard that GetResponse has actually launched its own courses platform. So if you're into creating visual courses, video courses, and paid newsletters, we actually just launched our own solution. So that's one announcement. The other thing is that we actually published all our courses for free in the GetResponse Academy. So at the top of the screen, you can see there's a button that you can click to access our courses. You'll find email marketing courses, list building courses, marketing automation courses, email marketing for nonprofits. So if you're interested in improving your email campaigns, increasing your automation campaigns, and improving the results, definitely recommend checking these out. And as I mentioned, like this is using our own platform. So if you're an educator, creator, you just want to create better experiences for your audience, why not give it a shot? As GetResponse users, you get access to this for free for 30 days, so you can test it out. For those that just want to learn, again, go there and make sure that you sign up to these courses. They're for free. They're not going to always be for free. So be sure to be one of the first ones to do this. So let's keep that button alive for a bit more, and we can proceed with the next section, right?
Yeah. Well, looks like we wrapped it up. So guys, I hope you find it interesting. Like, we're now into the Q&A session. So if there is anything that you would like to ask us to discuss, we're here. And just make sure to type your question with the question mark at the end, so it goes to our Q&A mode. But like in general, benchmarks are there, to guide us to understand market a bit better, and just to try to swim in these waters that are sometimes unpredictable. Sometimes you don't know what to expect. Trends are changing super fast. Today it's AI, tomorrow is something else, and you have to monitor your North Star. You must have something to guide you, and we believe really data are there for this specific purpose. And we're also curious. We didn't want to put this in the poll, but like, tell us in the chat if you would like to learn about benchmarks a bit more. For example, would you like to learn about it in your emails, that you get as product updates from GetResponse, like to learn what are the current stats for each market, like what markets would you be interested in beside US if you serve customers on other territories? So kind of, feel free to let us know. There are no wrong questions. Don't be shy.
One more little gem that we haven't shared with you folks that I find valuable is when you look at the results of email marketers based on the list size that they have, is that people with the smallest lists are usually the best ones to engage with their audience. And this brings me back to the polls, to the surveys that someone mentioned in the chat before. Especially when you're just starting fresh, like, you have all the possibility to engage with your audience, to learn what their needs are, to ask them about their preferences. So if you're just getting started with email campaigns, like, be sure to analyze the data and be sure to ask your audience for feedback, to check what they like. You can do it via survey, or you can analyze what they're clicking and try to use that information to make your email campaigns better. And if you don't know if something's better or not, you can use an A/B test. You can run an A/B test to see what kind of stuff is working.
We had one question, I see. Why is that though, due to the volume?
So not sure what this question is referring to, unfortunately. So if you could follow up, that would be awesome. I see another question, so let me just show it. So give me a second. What is the best way to find the best people for my products beyond writing a blog? So that really depends on what kind of products that you're selling. But writing blogs is definitely one way to grow an audience. Unfortunately, the latest Google algorithms weren't very good for small publishers. So I know, especially for affiliates, that many of their sites have gone down. So the reliance on Google traffic, the organic traffic, is not the best thing to do. So what I would do these days, if I was to start my own business or my own, selling digital product, I would definitely build out social media profiles and be online on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, depending on where your audience is residing. If it's Pinterest, be it Pinterest. If it's Reddit, be on Reddit. So start on social media, build up a profile there, build a presence for yourself. I would run ads as well, paid advertising on Meta if it's slightly older audience, on TikTok if it's slightly younger audience. I would run ads and first try to cast a wide net and then see who actually engages with your content. So, as a top of the funnel at the beginning, you would be trying to reach as many people as possible, try to have Meta, for example, to optimize for the reach. And then with the next step, with the next ad, you would just target the people that engaged with your content. If you have fans on your Facebook, you can do lookalike audiences. If you have a list of email subscribers, you can also do lookalike audiences. So you can use all that to find your audience. Naturally, some businesses will do it offline, and doing offline, going to business meetings, that's another way to grow an audience.
Yeah, I would just do a follow-up question, because I saw Matt wrote in the meantime, like what should be the strategy if he wants to sell books and courses?
Yeah. So again, I would start with building my own presence, my own profile. This is actually, let me share the link with you as well. So we recently ran an analysis, a survey. So this is e-learning revolution survey. So we asked 1,000 course creators, 1,000 course students. We asked them about their preferences, how they find courses, how they find information, etc. And one of the things that they were interested in was how credible the course creator was. And I believe it's the same for like ebooks, is the same for webinars. You have to have good presence. You have to be trustworthy for people to want to convert and start paying you. So like build out a presence if you can. Pitch podcasts, pitch webinars, pitch other blogs to just publish your content there outside of your social media as well. And once you've done that, definitely you should use platforms. Well, here like GetResponse, where you can have a landing page, host that ebook or host that course, and run ads so that these people will come to your page. If you have a community, that's also a great thing to do. If you have a Facebook community, Discord, somewhere else, that would be much easier for you to sell that product to. Most course creators, they sell initially to their audience, to their to their friends, to communities, etc. So they start there. So if you're going to be doing this in the long term, definitely recommend starting that. And running email campaigns, you could run a free email course, you could run a freebie offer, like a free ebook, free cheat sheet, or it's called a tripwire offer. So let's say your ebook costs $50, but the first ebook that you're actually promoting and running ads for costs only $1. So for $1, people will opt in, they will pay that $1, and then in the email communication later on, you're going to be trying to upsell them with automated emails. And once they've already paid, they got their credit card out, they've already believed you, and they've learned that this ebook that you presented them with was actually of very good quality, they're more likely to purchase that more expensive offer from you. The same is with courses.
Yeah, cool. We have a few more. I'm putting it on display. Yeah.
So what are the KPIs you would monitor in regard to email? So that's a good question. I think we should always think about like overall email metrics. So depending on like the type of business that you're in, but I would be looking still at open rates, click rates, conversion rates, and see if there's something off. If they're on a standard good level, similar to benchmarks, that's good. Like we don't have to really dive into this too much. Conversion rate among those three would be the most important one, because after all, you want to make sure that people are signing up to your webinars, they are buying from you, they are purchasing stuff in your store. So that conversion rate. And then if you're an e-commerce store, for example, you could check on the return or sales revenue from the whole email campaign, from the whole email program. So that will also help you out. Now, if you have deliverability problems, then you would look into unsubscribe rates, you would look at bounce rates, you would look at complaint rates. So depending on the situation you're in, you would be looking at this data. So rather than individual metric, just look at the overall health of your email campaigns.
True. Next one, how do one register for certification courses?
So you go to the academy.getresponse.com. We can actually share that link again. So let me just do that. So that's what we were mentioning before. This is where all our courses are hosted, and just do the courses. You'll get a certificate when you finish these courses. And if you have any questions regarding these courses, or you have feedback, etc., feel free to reach out to us. You'll see our faces throughout there. and we're always happy to hear your feedback.
Totally. And there was one more, I'm thinking, related to what you, Michal, already told about list size and engagement. I think this is a follow-up question.
Yeah. So this is my belief. So I have no clear answer to this, but I believe it's because when you have smaller lists, you actually know your audience better. So imagine you're a book publisher, you're a book writer. You know your first 100 subscribers by name. You know exactly where they came from, which articles they read. They are leaving comments on your blog and that kind of stuff. If you're a bigger brand, you're a SaaS business or you're just a big e-commerce store, you don't know your audience by name anymore. You just know that, we run a big campaign, it generated X amount of money. That, in my opinion, that's the case. You just generally lose track of these people, lose track of their preferences, and you're just thinking about numbers. And when you're a smaller list, you know exactly where they came from. So especially when people are just starting out, they have let's say 500 subscribers, they go to another podcast, and after that podcast their list grows by 20 people. They know that this podcast generated those 20, or they do a collab with another creator. That's another way, by the way, to grow your community at the beginning, grow your audience as a book author or course creator. You do a collab with another creator, and after that, you see that each other actually, you grew each other's lists because 50 people joined. So with smaller lists, you just know these kinds of things better.
Nice. Well, I'm guessing that was all we had in Q&A. If there's anything else, guys, feel free to shoot. Thank you guys for joining us. This was great. We really hope you learned something valuable, and as promised, you can expect webinar recording and a copy of this report in your inboxes at the beginning of the next week. Let's stay in touch, right? Reach out, feel free to do that using email. You can find us on LinkedIn as well. We are here definitely to discuss everything that you want, like remote coffee. We are open for that as well.
That's true. Thank you so much all for joining us. This was a big pleasure. Thank you for the great questions and comments. And if you have any feedback or questions about the report, feel free to reach out to us. We really want to dig into this data a bit more. So if you have a follow-up question about the data, just do let us know, and we're going to be happy to reach out to you.
Nice. Well, thanks, guys. Once again, have a great day all the way across the ocean and catch you on some other webinars.
That's true. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Well.